Good afternoon, VV Nation. Happy Friday, everybody. Woo! I see. Looks like David first to be in the comment section today. Welcome, David. Welcome. All right, if you can hear me, if you can see me, put a VV in the comment section appropriately here. And we'll get started in just a moment. Barry says, good afternoon, Ryan. Hello, Barry. It looks like Barry's going to be the number one today. Let's see here. All right, we'll give everyone just a moment. I did set the alert. So it looks like the viewership is creeping up here. Let me just check my phone, make sure the alert hit. Sometimes I'm not the best with technology. There we go. Looks like it just hit just now. Perfect. All right. We'll get started. Give everyone a moment to make their way into the room. But look, hey, we're seeing some optimism in the market today. By no means am I saying pack up the truck today. If you're buying today, if you bought yesterday, please, just at the end of the day, just stay disciplined. Just stay disciplined. Markets showing no mercy, Tab. A little bit of mercy today. Not mercy on the shorts. Go figure. Everyone probably opened shorts today. And obviously, the market's starting to roar back a little bit. The day is early. Remember that. Yeah, Bill. I'm thinking another bull trap if I had to guess. I'm not pulling the trigger today. I'm not. Who's pulling the trigger today? Who's buying some stocks? If you are, just, tiptoe, right? Backing up the truck right now, just know that is very aggressive and pretty much catching a falling knife. Did you buy some Bitcoin? No, Jazz. I did not buy Bitcoin. Honestly, I've talked about it on live streams earlier this week with BTC ETF dropping below that 200-day moving average. And we looked at Bitcoin, the chart. I believe that was on midday market update on Monday, where we looked at the long-term trend of Bitcoin. And it broke its trend line. So I'm going to be bearish on Bitcoin. And tonight's presentation is going to be on Contras. I like the VectorVest 7 system. Pick the Contras, and at no surprise, some of the Contras there were Bitcoin related. And it makes sense. Jazz says, I bought UAMY today. All right, the low fives. I'm not going to be mad at it. I haven't pulled the trigger yet. I'm waiting for it to get a little bit closer to our valuation. I did notice the last time I looked at UAMY, I think it was yesterday, the day before. Usually look at it pretty daily, right? It's getting closer to our valuation. If you notice, that valuation ticked up. It was in the low fours. If I remember correctly, as I get older, my memory's not get any better. But I'm pretty sure it was like 460 something. So if I can get it closer to that, I haven't jumped in it yet. But I still like UAMY. Still like it. It did break its long-term trend line. So be careful of that. I don't think so, John. I don't think so. Not with the government contract. I mean, the Department of Defense already set a price for their antimony. I forgot what it was, but several years out. So I'm not going to put it in that category. SPY is on fire again today. All right, let's take a look at these major indices. Let's take a look at it here. Dow Jones looks like just hitting a natural level support here, right? Natural level support here. We're still within the body of the candlestick from yesterday, the big sell-off candlestick. So no, I'm still looking for a bottom. I'm not, just because today's up a couple hundred points, you could see the trend there. Clear, looks like just a basic support line, right? Basic support line. And we'll see how today's finished, but again, this evening's video is Contra ETF. See if we get any kind of follow through. The video's not going to come out till 6 p.m. But come Monday, hey, in a downtrending market with the primary wave down, the confirmed call down, things of that nature, yes, I would be more comfortable getting into a Contra ETF on an up day rather than a down day, right? November means stay out of the market. It can potentially, but definitely with the VectorVest 7 system and the mobile system here is telling us it is harder to become a bull, right? Harder to become a bull right now. But that being said, yes, I do see trading at session highs here. Let's take a look at the Nasdaq. I know the tech-heavy Nasdaq, a lot of people are interested. Much lower end of the body from yesterday. See that? As well, I mean, you can see the support here. I talked about this, even with the VectorVest composite, we're all all major indices pretty much hitting a level support right now from a prior swing low before. We broke through the prior support level, making our way down to this one. I'd want to see a little bit more of a body. And honestly, I mean, the body of this candlestick right now, and I see a little bit of an upper wick. We'll see how the day finishes, but that little bit of an upper wick coming right at the bottom of the zone right now, right at the bottom of the zone. So me personally, obviously I'm going to be on the bearish side of things right now. And if I am going to load up on contra ETFs, especially if they're Nasdaq related, Qs, tech related, things of that nature, see if we get some rejection from this support. Well, now it would be resistance, right? Now it would be resistance. See if we get some rejection there. Or if you are going to try to play the contras, right? See if we can get in that resistance zone, right? That's when you would place your trade for the contra. And then obviously if the Qs, break through the upside of that resistance zone, that would be, I'm out of the trade. Just stay disciplined. But right now, I'm not, I see the pivot from the support, but that's all I'm seeing right now. All I'm seeing. Are you contradicting yourself as you previously said that contras are not a great ideas at BSR 0.2 and MTI 0.6? Am I right? Bill, I'm not going to be in the mindset of contras. And honestly, if certain ETFs didn't appear in tonight's video, which I said mostly Bitcoin related, I wouldn't have done the contra ETF video. I wouldn't have done it. And this example that I'm using is more so if you decide to do contra ETFs. I'm still not of the mindset. If you got into contra ETFs, a week or two ago, as the MTI, the RT, things of that nature started crossing below. But yes, with BSR 0.2, MTI 0.6, it's dangerous, right? And if you were going to do a contra, just tech related, looking at the Nasdaq here, I would see if there's any kind of pivot off this resistance level. But yeah, ultimately, Ryan, thanks for your frankness. Yeah, trying to be frank with you guys. But yeah, tonight, if I'll be honest with you, if it was, I didn't do an index, because I did use Unisearch for the ETFs. I didn't use an index one because I don't see that. But the crypto is where I see the weakness, and there's two other ETFs, not crypto related, that showed some potential. We could sell off for 4 weeks, then rally for Santa, Ryan. I mean, honestly, we're still shaping up for a Santa rally right now, right? With the MTI, these levels, the BSR, these still at these levels. I'm still not, I still think we could get one. I'm optimistic for the bulls. Am I pulling the trigger today? I am not pulling the trigger today. I'm not going to, we saw that bull trap after NVIDIA's earnings. I'm not going to be falling for this bull trap today. Nope. So if you do buy bullish positions, again, tiptoe. Wouldn't be backing up the truck right now. Go to time, inverse ETF on semi and tech. Again, you got to know how to play contras. If you are going to play contras, definitely would have, stick to technicals. In tonight's presentation, I do two graph layouts. One was one that typically that Glenn utilized. Another one, VectorVest standard thing here. DEW is not even close to a turn. Nope. Jazz, let's see here. No Santa this year. We getting Grinch. No. Well, you look at a two-sided coin, right? Either we get a rally for the bulls, right? Or B, we get a steep Black Friday sale this holiday season with these stocks, right? Because, I've noticed, I did the video, actually even the live stream yesterday, some of these stocks like LAES, perfect example, right? Making its way closer to our valuation, right? So some of these quantum, some of these AI plays that were way overvalued, that a lot of people felt that, maybe you missed the trade. Iron, perfect example, right? Opportunities can definitely present themselves. You have sound, I have no sound. What does that mean, Amir? What does that mean? All right, but looking at the Nasdaq, let's take a look at the VectorVest composite here. Actually, before we do that, let's look at the S&P. S&P, right off the support here. Look at this, came right up to the next level of resistance, right? So again, not seeing the conviction that I need, and we're still at the the bottom half of yesterday's candlestick. So not seeing that conviction. If you're buying today, just know that's very aggressive in nature. All right, let's look at the VectorVest composite here. VectorVest composite looks the most optimistic of them all, right? But we do have a strong level of resistance here coming into play right at the top of this candlestick. So we'll see, right? We'll see. Now, as far as the VectorVest composite, some early, optimism signs. If we could take out yesterday's open, obviously we could take out yesterday's high today, that would be very convincing. But I'm not there quite yet. And if we look, let's go back actually. All the signals are down. Let's take a look at the color guard here. So right now we're trading at 74.28, right? So come Monday, because I like to think ahead, just like most people watching this, right? We try to get ahead of the market, which VectorVest, tells us stick to the trend. But if we think about Monday, right? Look at the November 17th price, 74.30. That's the basis for the primary wave coming off of Monday, right? Roxy says, thanks for explaining DEW and DPO yesterday. I understand that better now. Awesome. I love DEW. It's a great middle of the road signal, especially if you're new to swing trading or even if you're an experienced swing trader. But DEW is a great one to use. Let's see, you're no bull trap this time. They can't play the same trick twice. So if you're looking for confirmation and you're more aggressive, right? Today, I'm going to put that in the speculative category. You're just buying a simple support bounce, right? It would have been like a week or two ago when you guys were buying. I did it myself. I bought the Data Vault, which actually I might still be in positive for it. We'll see. Was just a pivot off a moving average support, right? It was the 40-day moving average on the Qs and the S&P. That's what that was, that green light we saw. We can't see it here, but it was last week. But really, right now we're at 74.29. So come Monday, what, 0.1? 1 cent? We could get a primary wave up come Monday. And that would give me at least some confirmation. Data Vault was 33% up today. Well, shoot, looks like the one stock I did pick. I should have bought more. We'll see, right? We'll see. But come Monday, if we get that primary wave up signal, right, we're not going to get a green light for at least Monday and Tuesday, because I'll be coming off November 17th, November 18th. But if we get that primary wave up Monday for the aggressive people, hey, that might be a good signal. Say, hey, maybe I can be a part of this little pivot or support bounce, right? If it turns into more, hey, turns into more. Just stay disciplined, right? But that's very feasible to see primary wave up signal. But on the other note, Monday we're coming off November 17th. November 18th will be Tuesday. So November 19th will be playing off of Wednesday. It'll be 74.13. So as long as VectorVest composite literally could stay where it's at, come next Wednesday, we get a green light and possibly a primary wave to start up the week here. So we'll see. That might turn out, that might be the beginning of the Santa rally, right? We'll see. I'm not going to jump ahead of the market. Right now, you're jumping ahead of the market. Primary wave is down. Confirm call is down. Ryan, please advise, should I sell Data Vault and get back in later? I have Ollie G. I am not going to tell you what to do. I'm not a financial advisor, bud. But if you got a big profit, at least, protect some of that profit. Take some off the table, right? Do things like I would do. Draw a trend line, right? 3 and 8 moving average. Look at the chart. Trade the chart, Ollie G. Don't trade those profits that you haven't cashed out in on yet, right? Make sure the trade makes sense. Make sure taking those profits makes sense, right? If you just broke a level of resistance, well, probably want to be in a rush to take some profits, right? But I haven't looked at Data Vault today. I was just recording the video and then jumped over here. I actually had a meeting this morning in regards to the new options paycheck out in 2016. Yeah, Data Vault is not optionable, Ollie G. Data Vault is not optionable, unfortunately. So I'm looking at Navitas, looking at Poet for some more optionable plays here, more so Navitas. Actually, I got to see if Poet's got options. But look at 3 yellow lights across the board. 38% now. So apparently Data Vault's moving. So if you want some momentum today, maybe a day trade, you can take a look at Data Vault here. But that's interesting. The color guard's telling me, hey, we're finishing out this week 3 yellow lights, maybe some transitional period. Monday, we get a potential primary wave up and not even very hard. We just have to go up 3 cents, right? And by Wednesday, next Wednesday, we get a green light coming off those reds. That'd be the first potential for a green light here. So just kind of want to, give you a scenario of how the color guard could progress if you plan on being bullish in the market next week, right? The other side, the flip side of that coin is, right, we start out Monday with 3 red lights and the market just keeps selling off, right? Now, obviously that is, that's very potential. That potential could happen. Potential could happen, right? So if you want more confirmation rather than just, the market's up today, look for that primary wave come Monday, right? Look for that green light potentially that could happen Wednesday, right? And if we see some optimism in the market, from today till next week, hey, that DEW, we'll take a look at it next week and see when it can go up. All right, take a look at this. Advances, that's giving me some optimism there. 67%. Whew, 67%. Roxar, we do not track crypto directly. We do not track crypto directly. And honestly, there's no point in us paying for the data because you can get a free Bitcoin chart just about anywhere. And let's be honest, I think VectorVest is still, in early adoption of Bitcoin. We got the ETFs, but other than me and maybe a few others here, there's not a whole lot of crypto lovers. And just because I love crypto doesn't mean I'm going to ignore that Bitcoin signals I've been telling you about this week, right? Been telling you. And there it goes. Ollie G says crypto, right? I've said it before. When people start saying crypto, usually at least the time to start putting it on your radar. Not saying buy Bitcoin right now. Look at the chart, make sure it makes sense. Last time I was looking at Bitcoin chart, I was looking in the 70s for a nice support level. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Otherwise, if this is the beginning of a crypto winter, it could be much worse. That's why I definitely don't want you to do it, especially if you're one of those that bought in a crypto, above 100,000, Bitcoin could be very volatile, very volatile. What does the little black star mean next to the price column? Marco, that's a great question. Great question indeed. So that black star represents the RT kicker combo, right? Essentially, it looks at green lights or red lights like you're noticing now. But what it does, it utilizes 2 moving averages of RT, relative timing, right? Momentum of the VectorVest composite, the broad market. So the 10 and 15-day moving average is what we use, right? So when the 10's above the 15, right, just gives us a sense of momentum, right? It just looks at moving average crossovers of RT in addition to green and red light. So if you get a red light and those moving averages are in a bearish manner, yes, that means more momentum to the downside. And that's one of the reasons why I'm a little bit skeptical just jumping in today, because I see, the major indices up, 500 points, the Nasdaq, where are we at here? Dow Jones is up 700 points here. I mean, those are big moves. I'm not going to lie. Those are big moves. We'll see. But again, if you are buying today, stay disciplined. Stay disciplined. And know what your strategy is here. All right. Let's see here. Oh, yes. So going back to the signal here, the star, right? So if you see these red lights with asterisks, with an asterisk there, just know that there's more momentum to the downside with these red lights, right? That's why I'm saying it's like catching a falling knife right now. We saw this optimism, yesterday morning, right? After NVIDIA. So just be careful. Just be careful. And know that, if you do take a trade today, it could be short-lived, right? Just take your profits and run with this market. And if this is the bottom and your trade works out, hey, let it ride. Let's see here. Thought Santa would come by now. My bad. Well, Santa might be poking his head in today, right? We'll really get a sense of confirmation come next week. So again, just to the adverse effect, right? If you see green lights here in the price column with a star, just means that there's more momentum behind that green light. Just means that there's some moving averages of RT that are in a bullish manner. That's the simplicity or the simple way to put it here. All right, let's take a look at some stocks. It's 12:20 here since I'm just going to take a look at Data Vault since apparently that's a winner today. Let's just take a look at it, and then we're going to go into the watch list, and I'll get some of your picks here. DVLT. This might be a good day trade. We'll see. Someone's talking about here. Oh, 235. Yeah. Well, look at that. And it looks like we just broke resistance. We're in the zone, though. So this is what I'm talking about. See that zone here? See the upper wick right at the top of that zone? If we give too much of that up, right, that would look like some rejection in the mist. But just look at these moving averages. We're above the 40 now. We're above the 20. It looks like the moving average is moving back in the favor here. I kind of like this. We're still at session highs. Let's just look at a one-day intraday here. Hey, Santa may be after Thanksgiving, hopefully. Thought Santa. That is still at session highs here. That's beautiful. I'm glad. I definitely wish I would have bought more of that. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. What did I get that? I think like 150 something. 160. All right. If it goes up to $3, I'm just going to sell it real quick. Double my money. We'll see. Look at the news. You know, there might be something news driven here. The stock's up 40%. 40%. The one reason why I was hesitant to buy more is because when I first started doing research on this company and did a video on it, they have a Bitcoin treasury. They're one of the first, not one of the first, but now it's a new thing. The Bitcoin treasury, one of the first publicly traded companies to do it. Ali says, I got that about 30 cents. Nice. All right. Yeah, no, that looks beautiful, that Data Vault. All right, let's go back to some stock pick ideas here. Let's see what's hot. I know probably people looking at Micron. I was hoping to get it sub 200. We'll see. Or at least for my mom. I wouldn't mind buying a call on it. Let's take a look at the volatility, though. Let's see here. Let's do featured screens. Best stocks below $20. All right, let's take a look at these. Here we go. Undervalued, $25. Trading at 15. It's up 2% today. Not far from its yearly high here, 52-week high. So clearly going against the buck of the market. Value, phenomenal ratings. Let's see here. Earnings growth rate, 44%. Sales growth rate, 8%. Drug stocks have been hot lately. I can see why that one. Here's Gulf Island Fabrication. It gapped up. I think they're doing a buyout. I'm gonna skip that one. Let's see here. But MU and SanDisk is not up much today. Okay. Let's see here. Hey there, chiming in late, missing anything. I honestly want Micron to go below 200 because I'd like to get my mom in a little bit more below 200. Because if it does, I don't. It's probably pretty short-lived. I think that'll be a very good deal on Micron in the forward. Going forward, DEW on VTI, IXIC, and SPY all negative, even RSP negative. Watch out for TSM about to make a move. Barry, you talking about move to the upside or to the downside? To the downside. My cousin still is holding TSM. You talking about diamond hands? Dude, my cousin been holding AMD, NVIDIA, TSM. He's buying more. The one I tell you guys from Charleston. And if you missed it, it was like 2-3 weeks ago. He was talking about Micron. And I was like, that's funny, man. I've been talking about it from a trade perspective since the 120 level. And then ever since he talked about it and our value keeps going up, I had to get mom into it. He's always put me on the right side when it comes to semiconductors. And when he gave me confidence in my own Micron decision. Because he does that stuff. He's an IT and pretty much a hacker, a legal hacker. So he knows all that stuff. All right, looking at this one here. This is a big mover. Oh, what is going on here? Let's go 3 months. Nope. Urban Outfitter. It did drop below 200. Oh, today it did, Stacy. I have to take a look at it. We'll take a look at that one. This one here, this might actually make another wave to the upside. Not bad. Up 3% today. Hecla Mining, right at the 40. Be careful. Showing weakness on the Hecla. Still strong buy rating, so I'm not going to say sell it, but I'm not going to be quite the buyer right now of Hecla. Evoke Pharma. Was it? Is another buyout deal maybe? I Am Gold, right at the 40. A little bit of a up 2% today. Could be some accumulation there at the 40. A little bit of gold is not bad. I'm telling you, gold and strong undervalued tech, right? You know me, I love some undervalued tech. The Micron, the Google went straight up to its valuation. It's fairly valued now. Just waiting for the day the Micron rallies. I think if we get some more headlines from its New York plant, and maybe some of these AI bubble fears behind us, I think Micron has a good shot there. All right, I am gold. I do like that 40. I do like that 40 there. That might not be a bad place to pick up a couple shares of I am gold. Buy rating on this one too, up almost 3%. Energy Partners. A little bit of a channel lately, but does seem like we could get a bullish engulfing candlestick if that body continues up a little bit more. Ryan, Micron was at 193 earlier today. Oh man, what? Yeah, I should text my mom. I'll do that after this live stream. Let her broker know. Get her in that second position. Well, I don't know. She's driving to Colorado. I might not bug her with it today. She's more conservative in nature, so we'll see. I'll probably just wait for that next week, see if we get some confirmation. Otherwise, because if we don't, like I said, if today's not that day, next week this could roll over. So whoever's buying today, just stay disciplined and know exactly the intention and the plan you had in place. Korea Electric Power, that's very gappy. I'm not here for it. Harmony Gold, a lot of gold stocks here. This one's below the 40. It's actually been below the 40 a little bit here. We had rejection at the 40. No, let's go to 6 month here. I'm not liking this Harmony Gold chart, to be honest with you. 1 year? Well, I will say we're at a key level support. You can see the support there, and there's touches even back here. This $16 price might be a really good pivot for Harmony Gold. If it does break that, I see the 200-day down below and another level of support. You see that right below the one I have highlighted there. That also could be a key level to scoop up some Harmony Gold. But as of right now, I see gold just kind of taking a little bit of a breather. It's had such a phenomenal year, and gold's usually not that exciting. So if it's been that exciting this year, are you an only child? Nope. I've got a brother and a sister. BTSG looking good. Take a look at which one's BTSG. Can I buy CoreWeave and Nibius? Ollie G, you can buy anything you'd like. Now you could be going against VectorVest, and just make sure the chart makes sense if you buy anything. We can go back to the homepage, and I can show you what the homepage is going to say. Now, if you go out there and buy something, that's on you. Don't put that on me. Because again, like I said, we're not seeing, other than the major indices up a little bit today, there's really no confirmation. We just bounced off support and went right to a level of resistance when we looked at most of those major indices here. So be careful if you are trading, right? Now, if we get some follow through, we get that primary wave up Monday, if we get that, the green light potentially Wednesday, hey. Do you think NVIDIA is oversold after that sell-off, especially after the great news they had? We can take a look at NVIDIA. Is it oversold? That's a hard question, Chris, because you got to realize, what did NVIDIA do during the tariff concerns, right? It went from 150 down to $80, and now we're talking about AI bubble concerns, where NVIDIA is literally the heart of that concern, right? And it's only went from, 215? I don't know what's trading right now. I have to look at it. Maybe 180 something, unless it's rallying a little bit more today. I'll take a look at it. Ironwood, you can see a clear level of resistance here, right? Look at this one. If we get some optimism, if we break that resistance there around 350, we're not there right now, but that might just show some momentum, especially if we do get that primary wave up Monday, or some follow through in the market. See, Bill says there is no AI bubble. Bill, it just, I put it kind of like Bitcoin. It doesn't matter what I say about Bitcoin. It doesn't matter how I feel about it. It's what the world thinks, right? If the whole world thinks we're in an AI bubble and it starts selling off, well, then that's just the situation we're in, right? It doesn't matter if we're really in it or not at this moment. But I think there's probably a lot of profit taking, you're probably seeing some industry rotation right now. But really, and I've said this before, my concern is if you look at the very overvalued AI stocks and the VectorVest 7 software, that's where I see concern. I think I said it Wednesday, right? If Nvidia is trading at $200 and our value is at 50, yeah, I'd say, maybe there's some justification there. A little bit of AI bubble might be in place, right? If it's trading 4 times our valuation, right? But because it's trading, well, on par, I have to take a look at where it's at, but, it's pretty roughly undervalued or on par. And our valuation is pretty strict, right? Especially for tech companies and stuff. So I don't really see the bubble in Nvidia, but some other areas potentially, right? We'll see what happens. Let's see here. But then you got to think about it. These companies have to spend this money to stay in the race, right? Think about all the companies that didn't spend money in the .com era and didn't get a good website, right? Well, we don't know about them because all the good companies got good websites, right? They probably all fell off. Nvidia, okay, so it's still undervalued. So yeah, I'm not gonna be that concerned about it, right? I'm not gonna be that concerned about Nvidia. And the bubble, and I don't think it's gonna be within Nvidia, at least not right now. And especially as long as those chips, the demand exceeds how much they can make them, or how quickly TSM can make them. Yeah, I don't see a problem. Until there's like no more backlog, until NVIDIA's like, well, actually we don't have any backlog on our chips anymore. You start seeing news like that, yeah, I'm going to run for the hills on any AI trade, right? But that's not the scenario we're seeing. That's not the scenario we're seeing, right? Didn't BSR drop to 0.06? I think I saw a 0.04. So it can get lower, right? Just because BSR got a 0.2 and just because MTI is in 0.6s, this just now means that the market is now starting for a bottom, right? We're seeing this volatility between yesterday and today, a lot of volatility. NVIDIA had a great earnings report. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. All right, Orla mining, that is clear resistance. We got one touch. Let's see. Oh, where's Orla? Look at that. 1, 2, 3 resistance right at that level, and the one break was short-lived. Just looking at these gold charts here, generally speaking, what I'm seeing is all the gold stocks are taking a breather. You see the 200-day making their way up on these gold stocks, right? So me personally, if you got some patience and with a little bit of luck, you could probably get some pivots off these 200s, right? Like this one right here. Boom. That's a nice pivot, right? So that's what I'd be looking for. You could probably create a search like that in VectorVest 7 if you wanted to. Pivots off the 200-day on gold stocks. Because it looks like a lot of these stocks are just taking breathers. So yeah, I'd look for those pivots. Here's Eris Mining. This one is not, apparently. This one rocking and rolling. Its 200-day is below $8. That momentum is there. I mean, the 20 is picking up pace from the 42. Got a nice body on the candlestick today. Let's go to 3-month here. Yeah, not a bad stock. Simrush Holdings, I'm not liking this one. What's this one here? Let's take out that upper wick. Where is that? That high is going to be about 750. We'll call it 760. If this thing hit 760, it might be a quick momentum trade there. Might just be a quick momentum trade. Riot loss. Should I take my Riot loss or wait it out? I'm telling you right now, VectorVest can't go back far enough when it comes to Bitcoin charts, right? That's why one of my best Bitcoin calls since I started this 2 years ago was the head and shoulder, or not the head and shoulders, the cup and handle pattern last fall. Actually, this time last year, right? When it was about 60,000, jumped up, hit my target. I was looking at the symmetry, measure the cup, hits the target. We're pulling back. We broke the trend line. I mean, look at that Bitcoin chart on the long term. Look at the Riot on the long term. Look at what your next support level is, right? If your next support level is down another 15%, or the next moving average, I haven't looked at Riot, but say the 200 days down another 20%. Do you want to hold on to it in case it goes down there? Or, I mean, you got stay disciplined. What was your loss? What was your stop loss? Stick to that. If you didn't put a stop loss in, put one in soon. Right, we can take a look at Riot. Tara, the pharmaceuticals, if you're going to be a bull, drug and pharmaceutical seems to be the place right now. Gold, iffy. Gold's a little iffy. Gold's taking a breather. See, here's Biopharm. Look at another Biopharm. This is actually a perfect chart pattern. This is a, what do you call it? Like a descending triangle. We can see, if you just draw a trend line up the top, pure break of that trend line. This is a nice steady. Anywhere real estate, house, lower left, upper right, big body on the candlestick today. I don't know exactly what they're tracking or what they're doing, but that's a nice, just a nice chart. In a crazy market, hey, I can get with that. It's not an expensive stock either, $13. If you got some patience, see if it comes back to that 20-day or 40-day again. You see, last time that looked like a pretty good accumulation period. And honestly, what I'm thinking, this high here, this actually might be a really good trade. See this little wick here? I can't touch it, but that little wick standing up, my fingers are too big. That little wick standing up is right at $12. See if this thing comes back to 12, because it never really retested it. Broke it, but never really retested it. I mean, right now you're chasing momentum, right? But if you're looking for a pullback on a pivot, and that wick is right where the 20-day is moving into, so that might be a nice little pivot. I know it's moving in the opposite direction right now, but like I said, if you're looking for a little pivot on the pullback, that might come to fruition. We'll see. Here's another one. Moving to the side. I'm not really liking that. That's a lot of momentum to the upside. Cheap stock, $2.86. I'm just curious. Look at that. Undervalued too. That thing might still have some room to run. Anytime I see like low valued stocks, do a big parabolic move, and I really want to know if there's could be some more upside potential, look at value, right? The stock just had a big move, probably big news, right? A lot of people may not really understand the valuation of that stock. Well, VectorVest is going to give you good value, and it's $3.18 right now. And it looks like it just broke this resistance here. Oh, let's go to 1 year. Yeah, this one right here. The swing high. So we just broke that around 275. So that might be interesting. And there's the pharma bull. No surprise. This is shaping up for potential breakout here. Look for this stock here, especially if you're a momentum trader. But if that thing can get above 210, let's see, where is the above this resistance zone here? That might just break out for a big move. And let's see what the value is there. Whoa, look at the value too, 233. So if we get a breakout at 210, we value at 233, and it's a drug company, hot space right now. This thing might just rocket. 43%, you talk about Data Vault. But yeah, that TXMD, that might actually be a nice little trade there. I'm not going to lie. Let the trade come to you, though. Don't jump in it yet. Trade hasn't started. Let's see here. What time is it? 12:40. Let's go back to... Let's go to premium watch list this time. Let's see what the semis are doing. A lot of questions about semis. See here, Eli Lilly, first medical stock to hit $1 trillion valuation. Holy moly. Ollie G, 43. Ollie G, you keep giving me good news during this live stream, bud. Thank you. I do own Data Vault. Not much of it, but hey, I own a little bit. All right, Micron at the top of the list. No surprise. Let's see. Where is that now? 203. Oh, it did dip below, didn't you? You little goober, you. Look at that. Looks like everyone else had the same idea. We're going to buy it below 200 and put the price right back above 200, right? It just sounds good. I got a Micron under 200. It's going to sound probably real good in a couple years from now, if I had to guess. I agree. That's both my only concern with it. IAG options, a pretty thinly traded if you're doing that route. Oh, interesting. All right. That bottom wick literally touched this consolidation zone. That might have been the entry. Son of a gun. Well, my mom's driving. Well, she's in. I think she's hitting the road. She's in Tennessee. She got to make her way to Kansas City. She's driving out to Colorado. She's a ski instructor out there, in case you guys didn't know. And typically this time of year, I also do ski stocks because we're a big ski family. So, usually when the weather gets cold for a nice holiday stock video, I try to put like ski stock, something fun out there for everybody. Can't always be so serious, right? And sometimes there's some good trades in these ski stocks. I think last year there was a good one. All right, let's see here. I bought more MU. Yeah, I don't blame you, Alfredo. If I'm gonna buy a stock on today's dip or yesterday's dip, the one stock I could feel pretty confident about will be Micron. And clearly, I was confident last week in Datavault. Datavault is way sold 75% at 42%. Wait to rebuy, playing with house money. You can buy your mom some MU. You're rich enough. I wish. Y'all act like I'm a doctor. I make YouTube videos for a living. Yes. But yeah, hopefully we get her some more under 200. I like Micron, especially like I said. I know some about semiconductors, and I know more about the stock side and that stuff. But my cousin, he knows application use and things. He was all excited about Micron, and I'm pretty sure it has to do with that whole inference, the HBM thing. What I'm speaking of, I need to get down there and visit him soon, Dr. Ryan. No. That sounds way too professional for me. All right, let's see here. Micron looks good. I mean, what's the value on it? 352 these days. Yeah. 200 looks good for Micron. Like I said, I wouldn't be backing up the truck on anything. Even though Micron looks good right now, still not going to be backing up the truck. Which ones should we buy in order? Ryan, is TXMD optionable? I don't know. I don't have it in front of me. Anybody know if it's optionable? And if anything, if it is optional, just make sure there's volume on these options. Make sure the spread isn't something crazy, because the last thing you want is think you got in a huge winning trade and you got no one to sell it to, right? Unless you drop your price 50%. So we don't want that. What about STM? What is STM again? This one here, look, this one gapped down. Let's see here. That's a whole lot of weakness here. Look at this next level support. This is the one thing you guys need to ask yourself. Some of these stocks, I don't have a crystal ball, neither do you. But if your stock just broke a level support, just broke a major moving average, what is the next level, logical level that the stock would find support? And you got to ask yourself, A, does that next level already qualify in my existing stop? Because you should have a stop on every price. And if you don't, that's the first thing you need to do, is put some stops on your stocks. Put some stops on your stocks. No problem. Can you loan me $1,020? Yeah, right. Yeah, right. I wish I had just $1,000 to throw around. This Lamb Research, I will say, look at this support little pivot. That's kind of interesting there. It broke the 40, went right down to the level support. So if you are one of the few people, or not, I want to say few, because there's probably quite a few that jumped in there. Look at the pivot, right? If you get some follow through on Monday, naturally my target's going to be about 150, because that's right where the 20 and 40 day are, as well, the bottom of that resistance zone. See, I'm going to put 150 there, right? NVIDIA did an 8% squat. That's funny. That's funny. An 8% squat. But Lamb Research, maybe keep this one on your radar here. What's the value? It is overvalued, so maybe not. I would aim for more undervalued stocks right now. Lamb Research. So see what old TSM is, the other king of AI. I look at the resistance right at the 20. I mean, look at that. It's just catching right. No. I will say, almost looks like a pretty tight descending channel. I can't draw the trend lines on here, but if you draw a line at the bottom of these candlesticks here, these last few candlesticks, another trend line at the top, I bet that would look like a descending channel. TSM, it's trying to hold on this level of support here at 276. If it breaks, the next one's not coming in around 250. You can see the line here. Let's go to 6 months. So again, you got to ask yourself, right? If it breaks this key support level and the next natural support level is around 250, you just got to ask yourself, is that the type of volatility you can withstand? And is that the type of move within your stop, right? If you break a level of support and you only got maybe 3% left in your stop price, but yet you've got a big gap down to the next level of support, me personally, I might just cut it off early, right? But you just got to ask yourself that, right? Micron's new facility in New York on hold for several years due to local environmental resistance from communities. Ugh. Yeah, that would be rough. That would be rough, right? Um, mm, you know, and that is, we've talked about that on the channel here. There's going to be a lot of public pushback, right? But we'll see, because if it doesn't go to New York, guess what? It's probably going to go somewhere else, right? And the whole point of building them here, so that way they're not in Southeast Asia anymore. So, we're going to have to get used to more of them probably coming over stateside. Kind of everyone wants nuclear, just not nearby. I mean, I live right next to a nuclear power plant. Sometimes we can hear the sirens from in my office here outside Charlotte, North Carolina. I guess just living by it my whole life, I don't really have a problem with nuclear power. I guess until there's a problem, right? You don't have a problem with it. There's not a little problem, right? So I do get that concern. Trust me. All right, but yeah, TSM here again. That's a pretty big gap between those levels. So you just got to make sure that TSM, falls within your stop price here in your risk portfolio. AMAT, I will say, even with yesterday's sell-off, we got this nice swing low in here, right? And a lot of buying pressure at that rate as well. Actually, I'm kind of liking this AMAT chart. Let's get price action back above that 2040, and it's like right there anyways. Might not be bad trade. Look, man, overall, lower left, upper right, strong buy rating, still has a buy rating. I like ASML here. Not liking this one because it was moving to the side, a little bit of a channel. Looks like it just broke through the bottom end of that channel. I will say this low here, 935, keep that in mind. Because if it breaks 935, you got a new swing low and a channel break. And just looking at things, in severe pullback modes, what do stocks like? The 200. The 200's at $800. So you got a big jump there, right? And there's not much support in between. So be careful with ASML. NVIDIA, what is that? Just one big wick right now with NVIDIA? Yeah, looks like it. The volatility came in. It's holding. I talked about NVIDIA, that 170 level, and son of a gun, if it doesn't look like everyone bought right at that level, right? Around I think about 171, because I think the stop price was 173, and then our price, let's go to 1 day. Yep, there it is, the sell. Oh, wait, no. NVIDIA 1 day. I wonder if it hit the sell. It did not. So it was right above the sell. So the sell recommendation still keeping you in here. But the bottom of that consolidation channel, I've talked about this more so on the VectorVest 7 platform, as I'm able to illustrate it better. But I actually like that scoop on the bottom end of that level there around 173. I kind of like that. Ology says, I'm against stops. Then Ology, how do you decide when to get out of a stock? How do you decide to get out? Just say, hey, now's a good time to get out. I don't like what I'm seeing. AMD 203. I see that gap fill in the making. I'd have some patience on AMD. I don't think that damage is done quite yet. I'd look around 180 if I had to guess. But yeah, it looks like, right at the top of that zone, just some buyers came in. I don't know if the damage is done yet, but still a good stock overall. Went from a buy to a hold, so just keep that in mind. Broadcom, lower left, upper right. Look at that, not bad. But that one's way overvalued compared to some of the others. Here's Advanced Energy Industries, lower left, upper right. Actually, look at this. Looks like some accumulation down at the 40-day moving average and a level support here. This might not be bad. What's this, the value of this stock? Overvalued. Slightly overvalued here. You have more followers than you think because everyone is following your advice. Well, thank you, Stacy. Trust me, I don't like to be wrong, especially when, quite a few people are listening, right? So I try to, I don't try to get ahead of any stock. I just try to think about it logically. Even though I love crypto, I love AI, I love quantum, I love those type of things, stick to the chart on it, stick to the chart. Outsea Tech, can you suggest some stocks? Noted. Okay, so TXMD, that was a pharmaceutical thing. Let's actually, just want to look at one thing here, UAMY. I want to look at where the value was here. Yeah, at least use alerts. I mean, I couldn't imagine not just buying stocks and not having any outsee tech. Can you suggest some stocks? Let's see here. Where? UAMY. Where is it at here? The value. Okay, so it is 466 still. Right now it's 588. If you draw a big trend line on there, it broke it. Let's see here. I'm not buying it yet. We might get that thing right near that value. What was today's low, actually? 541. So we're getting close to our value. Okay. The rare earth trade just blew up. I had no clue when I was talking about that stock. When it was around 80, 90 cents, it broke a descending channel last fall. That's how Chris going to $20. And if you rode that, and I helped you make some money along the way, hit that like button, because that was amazing. All right, let's get out of here. You know what? How many likes we got? Hit that like button. Because it is, yeah, we got 10 minutes left here. Where is that little thing? Oh, there it is. There we go. Stuffing duty. Oh, man. Oh, man. All right. We've got 41 likes. I'm going to give you the extra like here. All right. Let's see here. So, first 5 stocks coming across. That'll be the ones we're going to break down today. All right. My watch list. New. Why was it mostly tech almost all at the same time? Because of the AI bubble concerns everyone was talking about here. ISSC. Oh, shoot. What? My watch list. All right, here we go. Hey, that AREC and that NAC, if you remember that NAC, that mining company, NAK, that one's got my attention as well. Ooh, small cap bull? Okay. All right, I'll take a look at PLTR. That'll be my honorable mention. VBAI. And I'll just grab that one and right before him, LQDA. So you got a couple extra out of me today. It's Friday. It's hard not to be in a good mood, right? Hard not to be in a good mood on a Friday. And the market's up today, especially after yesterday, right? Create watch list. Let's see here. 1120. Is it the 20th? Or is it 21st, isn't it? Yeah. All right. Celestica's at the top of the list. Let's see here. Broke the 20. Look at the buying pressure right at the 40, though. The stock is overvalued. 246, currently trading 275. So it is overvalued slightly. Proprietary indicators look good. Forecasted data, earnings growth rate 31%. Sales 28. Good numbers there. Ryan, every day you wake up is a good day. Hey, that's right. Look, likes are over 50. Look again. Okay, good. Let's see here. Why likes are so low today? It's Friday. People are probably sad. They got family coming in town tomorrow over the weekend for the holidays. Just messing. My brother's going to come down and visit for Thanksgiving. I'm excited for that. Let's see here. So that is another thing. The good jobs number, yes. And some of the missing data, yeah. It doesn't look like we're getting a rate cut December. We'll see. But yeah, obviously the market's not liking that, right? All right, let's take a look at Celestica. Broke that 40. I went from a buy to a hold. I mean, the price action is so nice. I do like this stock, though. It's hard not to like it. Lower left, upper right. I'm hold off on a buy. It's down today. You know, the market going against you, and it just broke the 40 here. Just be careful. Really, if it breaks this, consolidate. I mean, that's a lot of consolidation here. A lot of reasons for support level. You're looking around 255. You know, if it gets down to 255, wouldn't be surprised. Maybe look for a level support there. Otherwise, looks good overall. I mean, rising earnings per share too. Phenomenal stock. Wayfair, another great stock. Lower left, upper right, full-bodied candlestick, right? Rising earnings per share. These are the type of stocks we want, right? Rising earnings per share. Up 9% today. It is overvalued. Be careful in that aspect. $68 is the valuation. Liquidia Corp here. Look at this price action. Lower left, upper right. Earnings per share, turnaround story. Momentum is there. Just looking at some simple moving averages. I like this. Rising forecasted earnings per share. If you want the confirmation, get the price above $30. Otherwise, if we get rejection, could be a double top there. But I like what I see here. Stock is up today. But surprisingly, the Russell 2000 is way up, and many of those stocks are highly dependent on rates. Interesting. I look forward to your daily edification. Are you talking about the daily color guard or the 6 p.m. video this evening? As far as UAMY, Ollie G, I still think we get it closer to the valuation here, right? I think the rare earths blew up so much that now, you know, I've said it before. It's kind of like buying crypto, right? When everyone's talking about, oh, rare earths, you know, they're crap. Well, you know, now probably a good time because now those stocks that were way overvalued starting to pull back, getting closer to their value where it should be, right? So let's see if we can get some deals in the rare earths soon. But AREC, I am still short Remix. We'll take a look at Remix because I do like to get a sense of the overall direction with Remix. But this one here, let's get it above $30, get some confirmation. ISSC, I don't like this at all. Let's go to a 1 year chart here. Actually, did we fill the gap? What was this? No, we're still above that gap, but we filled. That's what this pivot's coming off of here. Be careful, only halfway through it. I could see it filling the whole gap here. Why not? And we're at the 20-day. See if we can break above this 20-day for some more momentum. But that is extreme bottom fishing. But I only see it off this pivot. I want to see it bounce off of this here. I'd be a little bit more comfortable. What is the value? It's undervalued though. Either way, $16. What's the value doing? But the value, look at this, value is rolling over with it, right? And I've said this before, if you do some bottom fishing, you see value keep dipping, focus less on price, especially if you already tiptoed and bought a couple shares, you know, on a cheap, whatever it may be. But really is going to get me excited to start to see that value start to tick back up, right? That'll really give me some confidence that now that value is starting to turn around. And maybe we got some really good opportunities here. Palantir. Nope, it broke the ascending channel. I mean, it broke the ascending channel, and I'm telling you right now that 200-day moving average is making its way right up to that support zone. I'd look at the bottom of that support zone. The bottom wick, I don't think the bottom's that. I'd be shocked that price action went from 200 all the way to 150 to stop just before the 200. But it did do it here too. I still can't get behind Palantir right now. Now that's on the ascending channel, right? And I broke that ascending channel around 180, and now it's in the 150s. So be careful of that one. You can see it on 4-hour chart. Oh, it's filling the gap. Interesting. Here's a small cap, triple leverage, bullish. Now look at the small caps, though. I see a nice steady trend to the downside, even with today's up, right? Still a nice steady trend to the downside, right? And we're stopping right at this level of resistance here. So see if you start to see a wick there, just know that could get some rejection there. All right, see here. Big Bear AI looks like it's broke its long-term trend line, the bottom trend line there. Trying to hold ground at the 200. I don't know. Ever since it broke that trend line, I've liked it for swing trading opportunities. I still see opportunities with the stock itself. I don't know. It's hard to get behind this one. It's down today. And look at sell rating in place. Be careful. Falling earnings per share. It was a really nice swing trading stock. But right now, I can't get behind it. Here's AREC. What is the value on AREC? 29 cents. We're currently trading at 272. You see the stock it was around, see here, back here, around 48 cents. And then ever since the rare earth story, it just started jumping up. I mean, this one here, if it breaks this, what is this, about $2, about the $3 level here, what is this support? About 250. If it breaks that, I'm looking at this level right here, just under $2. You see the support level here? And look at the 200-day making its way right around this support zone, giving a lot of reasons to find support there. I kind of like that. AREC, if it gets around $2, I'd almost put an alert on that. It's 272 right now, and it was up today. So it really doesn't go down that far. It was a $7 stock, but again, take it a breather here. And look at the earnings per share. Went way negative after the stock just rocketed. But earnings per share starting to move in the right direction here. All right, that's the last stock today. Look at that. On time, 101. Woo! Today we got a special treat. Power hour. So if there were some stocks we did not cover today, you got two routes. If you're not a subscriber to VectorVest, you can just go to vectorvest.com/FSA for your free stock analysis report. Or B, you could tune in at 2 p.m. We got Power Hour with Thad. That's going to be holding it down. So if you got stocks, you got an hour. That can cover a lot of stocks in an hour. So you should be able to get through a lot of them. Let's see here. Just heard a bit of the Fed comments. Yeah, there were a lot of Fed speakers today. And, if anyone can ruin a day rally, it's the Fed, right? It's the Fed. Bill says Thad's the man. I like Thad too. I'll be tuning in, and then I've got the daily color guard report. So if you have access to the community room, come check it out. It'll be at 3:55 today. And this evening, it's going to be on contras, but not index contras. A lot of them are focused on Bitcoin, crypto, things of that nature. So if you do want to play to the downside, might have some opportunities with these. All right, everybody, enjoy your afternoon, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.